had some. Thank you. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari 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 Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Radhe Golokananda Radha Golokananda Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribraja Kacharya Astotra Sata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Golokananda Ki Jai Samaveda Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga and Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 73, verse 28. The chapter is entitled, Lord Krishna Blesses the Liberated Kings. Ritan sadasvana ropya mani kanchana bhushitan pranaya sunriter vakyai svadeshan pratyayapayat ritan sadasvana ropya mani kanchana bhushitan pranaya sunriter vakyai svadeshan pratyayapayat ritan sadasvanaropya mani kanchana bhushitan pranaya sunriter vakyai svadeshan pratyayapayat ritan sadasvanaropya mani kanchana bhushitan pranaya sunriter vakyai svadeshan pratyayapayat ritan sadasvanaropya mani kanchana bhushitan pranaya sunriter vakyai svadeshan pratyayapayat ritan sadasvanaropya mani kanchana bhushitan pranaya sunriter vakyai svadeshan pratyayapayat Ritan, chariots, sat, fine, asvan, with horses, aropya, having them mount, mani, with jewels, kanchana, and gold, bhushitan, decorated, pranaya, gratifying, sunritai, with pleasant, vakyai, words, sva, to their own, deshan, kingdoms, pratyayapayat, he sent off. Translation. Then the Lord arranged for the kings to be seated on chariots drawn by fine horses, and adorned with jewels and gold. And pleasing them with gracious words, he sent them off to their own kingdoms. There's no purport, and I don't have the purports by the acharyas, so that's that. Om Gyana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Is there purports by the acharyas? Do you want to read them? Okay. Just those two. Okay. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, stunned by bliss, Yudhisthira could not speak. Interesting. Jiva Goswami says, he put them on the best fast horses with force in his presence with pleasing words. You are mine and I am yours. You should come to the great sacrifice of my dearest devotee Yudhisthira. He sent them off to their states after reviving them. Thank you. Om Gyana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So these kings had just been liberated. They had suffered terribly. They had been stripped of everything. They had seen the temporariness of their power. They had been reduced. They had been humbled. They had seen Krishna face to face. They had prayed to Krishna. Their hearts were softened and their pride was broken. So why didn't Krishna say to them, now all of you shave up, put on kopans, and come live with me as renunciates? Why did he send them back to the very world they had just become detached from? Because Krishna does not save us from our duties. Very often he saves us in our duties. He doesn't change what we do. He changes the consciousness with which we do it. The kings themselves, look at them. In verse 14, they say something remarkable like this. They say they no longer hanker for a kingdom because a kingdom is like a mirage, and the body that works so hard for it is declining and full of disease. That is a serious realization. These are not ordinary politicians saying, give us back our power. These are men who have been purified by suffering. They have understood that worldly power is intoxicating and temporary. And then in verse 15, just prior, they ask Krishna the real question. They say, please tell us the means by which we can remember you and never cease remembering you, even though we continue moving in this mortal world. That is the question. Not how do we avoid life, but nor how do we escape from life, but rather how do we remember you while still living in the world? This is a very relevant question for us because we are not living in ancient Vedic society. We are not clearly placed in a functioning varnashram system where everybody knows, I am this varna, I am this ashram. These are my exact duties. This is my station in life. In the modern Western world, things are a bit scrambled. We have jobs and families and bills and cars and phones, taxes, some temple service, some health issues, old karma, talents, inclinations, and 1,000 miscellaneous little activities. Our life does not come neatly labeled, this is your prescribed duty. This is your varna, this is your ashram. So what do we do? The answer is not that we have no duties. The answer is to recognize our actual field of responsibility, whatever Krishna has placed in front of us, and connect it to him. In Gita 4:13, Krishna says the four divisions of human society are based on guna and karma, qualities and work, not merely birth, not merely a social label, but qualities and activities. And in Srimad Bhagavatam 7:11-35, Narada Muni adds that if the symptoms of a particular nature are seen in a person, that person should be recognized according to those symptoms. So even in Shastra, the point is not artificial designation. The point is real nature, real quality, action, and service. That is defining our Varna. So for us in the West, we may have to ask very practical questions. What is my nature actually? What responsibilities has Krishna placed in front of me? What am I actually able to do? What service comes naturally? And if I imitated someone else's path, what duties would I be neglecting? Because it's always tempting to imitate someone else, others. What work can I do honestly? What talents has Krishna given me that I could use for him? That is very different from fantasy renunciation, because sometimes we get this idea that spiritual life means we must become something completely other than our real selves. But notice, Krishna does not tell Arjuna to become a forest sage. Arjuna wants to become a forest sage. He says, Krishna, I don't want to fight. Let me go and beg. And Krishna says, no. Krishna tells him to fight. In Bhagavad Gita 3:30, Krishna gives a beautiful formula. He says, Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya, surrender all your work unto me, and then yudhyasva, and fight. He does not say, Arjuna, surrender your work unto me, and therefore stop fighting. He says, surrender your work unto me, and fight without selfishness, without proprietorship, without feverishness. That is the whole point. Krishna consciousness is not always the changing of the external activity. It is the changing of the purpose, the consciousness, the offering, the ownership, and the center. The same hands can work for Maya or for Krishna. The same mouth can speak gossip or kirtan. The same computer can be used for nonsense or for service. The same money can fund sense gratification or support Krishna's mission. The same house can be a little fortress of material life, or it can be a grihastha ashram. The same job can be all anxiety and ego, or it can be honestly performed as maintenance for devotional life and as an offering to Krishna. Bhagavad Gita 9:27 gives the broad formula, Yat karosi yadasnasi tat kurushva madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, whatever you give away, whatever austerity you perform, do it as an offering to me. This is one of the most practical verses in the Gita. Krishna does not say only temple activities can be offered. He says whatever you do. But there's a catch. We cannot use that verse to spiritualize nonsense. We cannot say whatever I do is Krishna conscious because I add Krishna's name at the end. No, the activity has to be purified. It has to be favorable. It has to be brought under sadhu, shastra, and guru. But the principle is broad. Our life itself should become an offering. And that is exactly what Krishna did with the kings. Look at how he prepared them. He did not flatter their power. In verse 19, just before, he warns that the opulence and power can make human beings mad. Krishna knows the danger of their position. These are kings. The moment they get back on the throne, they could become proud again. They could exploit. They could think, now we are rulers again. So Krishna first cures the disease of false proprietorship. Then in verse 21, he tells them, understand that the body and everything connected with it has a beginning and an end. Worship me and protect your citizens according to Dharma. That is the instruction. He does not say, the body is temporary, therefore do nothing. He says, the body is temporary, therefore do your duty with proper understanding. That is mature Krishna consciousness. And here we have to be very careful because there are two different kinds of renunciation, and they look the same from the outside, but inside they are completely different. Immature renunciation says, the world is temporary, so I don't care about anything. Mature devotion says, the world is temporary, so let me use whatever brief time and energy I have in Krishna's service. Immature renunciation says, my family is material. Mature devotion says, let me help my family remember Krishna. Immature renunciation says, my job is material. Mature devotion says, let me work honestly, avoid sinful work, maintain myself simply, support devotional service, and not forget Krishna. Immature renunciation says, my nature is a problem. Mature devotion says, let me dovetail my nature to Krishna. Srila Prabhupada used that word so much, dovetail. It means you don't necessarily destroy the energy, you connect it, you redirect it, you point it at Krishna instead of at yourself. If someone is artistic, use it for Krishna. If someone is intellectual, study and teach Krishna's philosophy. If someone is managerial, organize service. If someone is musical, do kirtan. If someone is practical with money, help support the mission. If someone is good with food, cook for Krishna. If someone is good with children, teach them Krishna consciousness. If someone is good with technology, build something useful for devotees. If someone is strong, protect. If someone is gentle, care. If someone is persuasive, preach. If someone is contemplative, study and remember and write. The point is not that everyone must become the same. The point is that everyone must become Krishna's. Bhagavad Gita 18:45 says that by following one's own kind of work, a person can attain perfection. And then 46 explains how. Svakarmana tam abhyarcha. By worshiping the Lord through one's own work, that is exactly what we see in Bhagavatam. The kings will worship Krishna not by pretending they are not kings, but by becoming Krishna-conscious kings. And the Bhagavad Gita 3:35 says something very important. It says, it is better to perform one's own duty imperfectly than another's duty perfectly. That verse matters because imitation is a real danger in spiritual life. We see someone else's path and we think, that looks more advanced, I should copy that. But if it is not our actual adhikar, not our actual capacity, it may become artificial. And then we may fall down or become proud or become useless to anyone. So Krishna sends the kings back to their kingdoms. Why? Because that is what their service is. They are Kshatriyas. Their duty is to protect. They have citizens, they have ministers, they have influence. If they become Krishna conscious, then so many people under them benefit. If they walk away, who protects the people? Who establishes Dharma? Who administers justice? So this is very practical. Sometimes we think the highest thing is always to leave. But in many cases, the higher thing is to stay, but stay purified. Stay, but not as the enjoyer. Stay as servant. Stay with remembrance. Stay with detachment. Stay with responsibility. In verse 22, just before, Krishna tells them that as they live their lives experiencing happiness and distress, birth and death, they should keep their minds fixed on him. That is a complete instruction for householders, for workers, for leaders, for Western devotees, for all of us. We are going to encounter happiness and distress. We are going to have responsibilities. People will be born, people will die. Bodies will change, situations will come and go. But Krishna says, Mat chitta, keep your consciousness fixed on me. And in verse 23, he says that they should be detached from the body and things connected to the body. Keep their vows, fix their minds on him, and ultimately attain him. So this is not ordinary material life. It is not go home and enjoy. It is go home and remember me. It is govern, but know the body is temporary. He is saying, have a kingdom, but don't be possessed by the kingdom. Act, but act as my servant. And this is why the next verse in this chapter is beautiful. In verse 29, the kings depart while meditating on Krishna and his wonderful deeds. They are physically going away from Krishna, but internally they are with him. Then in verse 30, they go back to their ministers and associates and tell them everything Krishna had done, and they diligently carry out his instructions. That means they became preachers in their own kingdoms. They returned not as ordinary kings, but as transformed men. That is our path too. We come to the temple, we hear Bhagavatam, we chant, we take prasadam and associate with devotees. And then most of us go back out. We go back to our apartment, our family, our work, our car, our phone, our obligations. And the question is, do we go back as the same person, or do we go back carrying Krishna with us? That is what these kings did. They went back thinking of Krishna. They spoke about Krishna. They followed Krishna's instructions. So when Krishna sends them home, this is not rejection, this is empowerment. Sometimes a devotee may think, if Krishna really loved me, he would remove all my worldly obligations. But maybe Krishna is saying, no, I want you to serve me there. I want you to remember me there. I want you to be steady there. I want you to purify that place. Of course, there is real renunciation. Sannyas is real. Full-time temple service is real. Some souls are called to that path, and we should never minimize it. But the point is, it has to be real. It has to be according to Krishna's desire, not our frustration, not our imitation, not our wish to escape responsibilities. Arjuna wanted to renounce the battlefield, and Krishna rejected that renunciation. Why? Because it was not surrender. It looked spiritual externally, but internally it was confusion. Real surrender can look like staying in the battle. It can look like raising children. It can look like going to work, caring for aging parents, cleaning the temple bathroom, managing money honestly. It can be writing, singing, cooking, teaching, accounting, driving, repairing, organizing, building, protecting. The outer form is not the whole test. The inner offering is the test. Srimad Bhagavatam 1:2-13 gives the universal standard. The perfection of one's duty is Hari Toshanam, pleasing Hari. That means the question is not just, what is my job? The question is Krishna pleased by how I am doing this? Is this making me remember Krishna? Is this helping others remember Krishna? Is this purifying me? Or is it making me more proud, more greedy, more forgetful? This is very helpful for us in the West. We may not know exactly where we fit in classical Varnashram, but we can still apply the essence. And practically, that essence comes down to maybe 6 points. First, avoid sinful work. Obviously, if our work is directly supporting intoxication, meat eating, gambling, illicit sex, cheating, or exploitation, we should pray and work towards changing that. We may not always be able to change everything overnight, but we should at least know the direction. Second, do honest work. Krishna consciousness does not mean becoming irresponsible. These kings were told to protect their citizens. Responsibility remains. Third, offer the fruits. Use our money, our home, our time, our intelligence, our influence for Krishna. Fourth, remember Krishna while working. Chant before work, keep kirtan or lectures on when possible. Put Krishna in the environment. Pause now and then and mentally offer the work. Krishna, this is yours. Fifth, do some direct devotional service. Hearing, chanting, worshiping, serving devotees. Because if we only spiritualize our job but never hear and chant, the consciousness will dry up. We need the medicine of direct devotion. Sixth, accept our nature, but don't worship our nature. This one is important. Dovetailing our nature does not mean, I am like this, therefore everything I do is okay. No, our nature must still be purified. A passionate person can use passion in service, but not indulge lust or anger. An intellectual person can use intelligence in service, but not become proud. A managerial person can organize for Krishna, but not become over-controlling. An artist can create for Krishna, but not become absorbed in fame. We accept the raw material, but Krishna consciousness refines it. Prabhupada calls this the great art of doing work in his commentary to Bhagavad Gita 3:9. Work done for Vishnu liberates us. Work otherwise binds us. Same world, same activity, different center. And Bhagavad Gita 12:6 and 7 makes the promise. Krishna says that those who give their activities to him, make him the supreme goal, worship him and fix their minds on him, he becomes their deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. That is the hope. We do not deliver ourselves by being expert workers. Krishna delivers us when our work and our mind and our life are offered to him. So when Krishna sends the kings back, he is not saying, go be materialists. He is saying, go be my devotees in your station. And this is encouraging, because otherwise many people would think, I cannot be Krishna conscious. I have too many responsibilities. I am not a monk. I have a job. I have a spouse. I have children. I have health issues. I have debts. I have a complicated life. But Krishna's instruction to these kings is, in that life, remember me. In that life, protect others. In that life, be detached. In that life, keep your vows. In that life, attain me. This is not a cheap compromise. This is the genius of bhakti. Bhakti can enter every condition. A king can be a devotee. A child can be a devotee. A householder can be. A worker can be. A scholar can be. A musician can be. A cook. A person in difficulty. A person in old age. A person in the West. All can still ask the most simplest, most honest questions. Krishna, what have you put in my hands, and how can I offer it back to you? That is the question, not how do I become someone else, but how do I become yours? And we see after the kings left, They remembered Krishna and they told others about Krishna. That is the proof their return to worldly responsibility was successful. They did not leave Krishna behind. They carried Krishna into their kingdoms. So we take this verse very personally. Krishna puts each of us onto our own chariot. It may not be decorated with jewels and gold. It may be a Honda Civic. It may be a laptop. It may be a kitchen. It may be an office chair or a broom or a harmonium or a spreadsheet. But Krishna sends us into our own field and says, remember me there, serve me there, do your duty there. Don't get intoxicated. Don't get lazy. Don't imitate. Don't forget me. Then our life, this very life, becomes devotional service. And finally, Bhagavad Gita 1866 is always there, sitting at the heart of everything. Sarva dharma parityaja mamikam saranam vraja. Give up all varieties of religion and surrender unto me. And that the fact that vraja is the last word there, saranam vraja, it's got dual meaning, but it does refer to Vrindavan. Vyas did that little trick. So Saranam Vraja, surrender to Krishna in Vrindavan. This does not mean irresponsibility. It means the final center of all duty is surrender to Krishna. Any duty that leads us away from Krishna must be rejected. Any duty that can be offered to Krishna must be purified and offered. And Krishna says, do not fear. So this verse is not merely about transportation arrangements for kings. It is about Krishna's mercy upon souls who have suffered, become humbled, and are now being reinstalled in their lives with new consciousness. They had kingdoms before, but now the kingdoms belong to Krishna. They had duties, but now the duties are Krishna's order. They had power, but now they have been warned against pride. They had lives before, but now their minds are fixed on Krishna. That is what we want, not necessarily a different life externally, though sometimes Krishna may change that also. But first and foremost, a different center. Let my work be for Krishna, my home for Krishna, my speech for Krishna. Let my nature be purified. Let my talents be used for Krishna. Let my suffering make me remember Krishna. Let my success not make me forget Krishna. Let my duties become offerings. And like those kings, let us go from this hall today remembering what Krishna has done for us, speaking about him to others, and carrying out his instructions without becoming lax. Does anyone have anything to say at all? Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes. Big head.
A question that comes to mind is that really the cares of the world are an impetus to actually surrender. And unfortunately, in the modern world, the cares of the world have become an impetus to escape into some sort of deeper maya. So how do we convince people? I mean, you can't really, but what is the key to telling people how their cares really would only be mitigated by surrender to Krishna?
Yeah. Well, I'm an astrologer a little bit, so I'm tainted. I tend to see that Krishna makes devotees rather than they arise spontaneously from within the heart of people, that they're independent and they desire and decide to become interested and see things differently. But rather, It's sort of already set up. Those who will rise will rise. But because he set it up as Leela, there has to be a devotee who tells them something, and then they respond to it. Like my chart is really heavily a devotee's chart, but I had to meet the devotees. They had to trick me and preach to me to get me to take the books. And I took the books, and then I read one, and then I got convinced. So there's always that action from a knowing soul, from a devotee, giving it. So you ask, what do we do? How can we make them see better? And you specifically, you said, see the things of the world, the realities of the world, which are negative largely. See them as impetus to become Krishna conscious. We have to simply rake the field with words. Like Harinam, blast the holy name out to various people walking by. And one of them will be conscious enough to be interested, and they'll recognize the transcendental nature of the devotees, whereas others just see them as crazy people. So the fertile ground will receive our works of preaching. We have to spread a broad net, and we'll get a fish here and there.
Well, that goes to the biblical idea of fishing.
Yeah.
The idea is that you can't make a devotee, you can only find them.
That's right. That's absolutely correct.
I also think, I have a realization that going out to chant the holy name is like sowing seeds. And the seeds are there, and some of them I want to practice, but they're always there.
Mm-hmm.
At some level, even those people who are completely opposed to any.
Yeah, there is always that. The effect of us spreading the net or chanting Harinam on the souls who are not interested, it is purifying for them to see devotees, to hear the holy name. It does affect them. They get a little teeny bit of sukriti, and they become a little bit closer to the truth. Maybe later, or maybe next life, or next life after that. But these activities always have a purifying effect. Just seeing the cover of a book has a major blast of purification upon any soul who sees it, you know?
Just touching the book.
Yeah,
So you're talking about actually spreading, going out and spreading, whether the books or sadhu, harinam, to just be there.
yeah. All these activities, prasadam, books, harinam, all these activities spread truth and sukriti to the people in general, but there'll be the rare, ready soil of certain individuals who will be able to come forward and really partake. And unfortunately, it's not that many people. It is said that such a great soul is very rare. And indeed, we see that. They are rare, but they do exist. It is worth finding them, you know, and saving them. And plus, doing this work of preaching in various forms purifies us and keeps us Krishna conscious in the best way possible. The preaching work is the most uplifting, the most purifying of the various devotional services. It has a wonderful effect on the person who does it. Almost time. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Writes it all out, and it's really good.
I can't help it. I have to.
No, it's really good.
I don't trust myself spontaneously.
Everybody's got a different style. It's really good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvam Maravindanalaya Taksham Bhagavatam Samasitam Buddhasundaram Kandar Agom Vidamaniyam Vishesha Shobham Govindam Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Anandani Yasa Sakalem Priya Priti Manti Vasyam Vivam Vikayanti Viram Naganti Anandam Maya Sadhu Jara Vigrahasya Govindam Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami 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 Govindam Hari Purusham
Jamim Govindam Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajamim Govindam Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajamim Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jaya 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 Gokula Charune Mandala Mahiche Gokula Charune Mandala Mahiche Gokula Charune Mandala Mahiche Gokula Charune Mandala Vardhana Vaishe Hare Niskuta Vrinda Vipine Veshe, Damodara Vardhana Veshe, Arinis Kutavina Vipineshe, Damodara Vardhana Veshe, Kutavina Vipineshe. Radhe, hey, Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. Vishabhanudate Navasashileke Lalita Sakayiguna Ramita Vishake Vishabhanudate Navasashileke Lalita Sakayiguna Ramita Vishake Vishabhanudate Namasasheleke Lalita Saki Guna Ramita Vishake Lalita Saki Guna Ramita Vishake Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jai Jai Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jai Jai Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jai Jai Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jai Karumai, Karuna Bhavite, Sanaka Sanatana Vanita, Charite, Karunam Karumai, Karuna Bhavite, Sanaka Sanatana Vanita Charite, Karunam Karumai, Corona Barite, Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charite. My Corona Barite, Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charite. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. 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 Gokula Tarani Mandala Mahite. Gokula Tarani Mandala Mahite. Gokula Tarani Mandala Mahite. Gokula Tarani Mandala Mahite. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jai Jai. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jai Jai. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jai Jai. Jaya Radha Goloka Nana Radha Goloka Nana Radhe. Jaya Radha Goloka Nana Radha Goloka Nana Radhe. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Jai Om Vishnu Pa. Paramahamsa Paramahamsa. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
O Radha, all glories unto you. All glories unto you. Beloved of Madhava, object of worship for all the young girls of Gokula. You dress yourself in such a way as to increase Lord Damodar's love and attachment for you. You are the controller of Vrindavan, measure grows Lord Hari. You are a new moon arisen from the ocean of King Krishnabanu. You are the friend of Lalita, and your wonderful qualities, friendliness, kindness, and faithfulness to Krishna endear you to Vishaka. You are an ocean of compassion, and your divine characteristics are described by the four Kumaras, Sanaka, Sananda, and Sunat Kumara. O Radha, please be merciful unto me. Chaito Darpana Marjanam Bhavamahardavagni Nirvapanam Shreyakai Chandri Karataranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipanam Purnamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrapita Niyamita Smaranena Kala Etadrishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrishame Hajjani Nanuraga Trinada Pisu Nichena Torora Pisu Hishuna Amani Namana Dana Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundaram Gavitam Vajagadisha Kamaye Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvare Bhavatad Bhakti Rohitaki Twai Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Buddha Kripayata Vabada Pankaja Stita Duli Sadrushim Vachintaya Nayanam Kaladashu Daraya Varanam Gadgarudaya Gira Pulakarnishitam Vapukada Tavanamagrahane Bhavishyati Yugayatam Namishena Chakshusha Bravashayatam Shunayatam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahename Ashlishyava Padamritam Anastumam Adarshanam Marmahata Karotuva Yatatatava Vidadatu Lampato Mat Prananatastu Sa Eva Napara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. Oh, my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you've invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh, my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw on the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O Son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Oh, my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love? When I can, it's your holy name. When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? Oh, Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so, even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he's always my worshipful Lord unconditionally.
Devotees online. Hello, devotees online. Really? So, okay, for you bhaktas online and bhaktinis online, so the deities are dressed very nicely by Chaitanya. And I was just thinking, is Chaitanya there? Yeah, I was just thinking, she's like an unsung hero here. Yeah, I mean, the rest of us, you know, people like me, we get positions, and everybody goes, Jai Jai, Gurudev. Oh, we love your lotus feet, you know, all that stuff. And but with Chaitanya, she's rendering the service. And, you know, it's just, you know, once in a while we say happy birthday or something. But for the rest of the year, it's just like humble. You know, just humble, not expecting any adulation. Let's not say I appreciate, but adulation for her service. It's just like day after day. And, you know, you have to